You came to SKINDRED in 2002 and now in 2014 you're playing sold out tours and shows. How did you keep the inspiration up over such a long time?
That's a good question. We're inspired by all kinds of different things, you know, life, music, all kinds of stuff, you know. We love what we do. We love being different, love being unique. I think that's what keeps us going, you know. I think we like the challenge of converting new fans. We love the reward of playing to converted fans, you know. So, I don't know, I think if you love what you do, you never really question that, you just keep going, you know.
So Benji was like one of the pioneers of ragga metal, like a crossover style, starting in the early 90s. Do you follow what's going on now with this new, very small subgenre rising with bands like Fear Nothing band in the US and even in Austria there's some bands going in this direction. Really? Now, do you follow what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fateful, I suppose, that we sometimes run into bands like that. Like we've played with Fear Nothing band in the US a couple of times. They did Warped Tour the same year as us, and you know we played a few shows in Connecticut area, which is where they're kind of from, like New Englandy area. We kind of become aware of these bands that are doing that through just, you know, people telling us about them, but I'm not sure I'm aware of the one in Austria doing it. I'd love to hear it though. Yeah, I don't actively follow it. These things seem to find us and sort of people draw their comparisons, but yeah, I think it's great that people are, you know, splicing genres. I think it's amazing that people would cite us as an influence, you know, with what we do specifically. I mean, that's incredible. We never really set out to inspire on that kind of a musical level so much as maybe just inspire the listener rather than, you know, someone who wanted to do what we do. So it's amazing, you know.
How important are musical trends for you?
Not important. Not important. We've been doing what we do for over a decade, and people are still catching up. You know, I mean, the world makes it okay for a band to have a drum and bass influence. We've always had a drum and bass influence. 10 years ago and today, if the world suddenly says that's okay, then all right. But we've always done that. We've always been influenced by punk rock, reggae, metal, rock, hip hop. You know, drum and bass, you know, so much stuff. And if one of those things comes into fashion, then, you know, whoopee. But we're always going to do what we do while we're together.
While mixing so many genres, do you sometimes fear, especially during a production phase of an album, that people won't like what you do anymore?
I think as an artist, if that's what you want to call it, there's always a bit of, you know, self-doubt. You kind of walk the line of kind of like, you know, self-confidence, self-doubt, and, you know, you have to be into what you do. But yeah, there's always time when you kind of question, is this any good? Does anyone like it? You know, of course, there's always a little bit of that going on, but you just have to do what makes you happy, you know, in the studio and on tour and, you know, in playing. And if you like it first, then hopefully someone else is going to be into it. And, you know, 5 albums in, we're kind of refining what we're about and our identity musically. And yeah, I mean, we get new fans every day. So I think I have to, your head has to say, yes, people are going to be into this.
An unconventional question. You had a guest playing at the German soap opera, I don't know if you remember, in 2011. How did it come to this story?
Good Times, Bad Times, right?
Yes.
Is that what it's
exactly.
called? Yeah, I think that came around something to do with our label at the time in Germany. They kind of had a connection there and they kind of just made it happen. I think we were like the first heavy band to do it. Normally it's kind of pop stuff, right? I think. Yeah, it was pretty surreal. They put us, you know, had us all with like wireless ears and microphones and stuff, and it was all very professionally done. It was, and we obviously didn't know about the soap. We didn't know anything about it, being from the UK. But there's, you know, it's a similar version of something that's in the UK and stuff. So, and then we were told it's quite a big deal. So it was, you know, quite exciting to do. We were sort of sat in someone's dressing room and it had all their character stuff on the wall, like all their different costumes, what they're known for wearing. It's quite funny.
Now, Kill the Power, coming to your current album, was the second album that you recorded in the UK in Leeds with Leroy. How did it come to that? Why did you change from recording in the US, coming back to the UK? And what was it like there?
In Leeds?
Yeah, during the 6 weeks of production.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time we'd done it in that studio. It was the first time we'd worked there, because it's a relatively new, up-and-coming studio. I think we were one of the first bands at our sort of level who recorded there residentially, in so much as we stayed there for 6 weeks, didn't move, didn't leave. Yeah, it was the second time we'd worked with James. I like that you called him Leroy. That's quite good. That's going to be a new nickname for him now, Leroy. He's yeah, we've kind of got a sense of familiarity working with James now. I think he's one of the first producers to really understand what the band's about. We had a fantastic time working with producers in the US beforehand, because for us as a band, for a little band from the UK, it's a surreal experience to be whisked off to America, being a great big studio with a big American producer. I mean, it's amazing. I think there was always, with those first 3 albums, there's always a little bit of a separation between the band's identity and, you know, the US's perception of it. They have their own take on things. I think working with a UK producer, it really taps into that kind of almost like the sub-genres of music we're into, you know? The urban side of things, the electronic side of things, more so than the guitar side of things, you know? The rock side of things, I think, works on both sides of the continent, on both continents, sorry. I think it's sometimes the dance stuff and the electronic stuff and the urban sounds that, as a UK band, that stuff that's really close to our identity. And I think that was maybe never really, a bit lost in translation before in the past. A bit. I'm not knocking what we did before. I made 3 really strong records in the US with the American producers and stuff. But I do think that the stuff we're making now is a truer sound.
This song is about 4 brothers and 1 bastard son. When the world was hot, they never let the bad boy run them spot. How can you people listen to them every day? We ever make them in our block, move off the road. One day you're living and next day you're gone. Who you want to come and come real? Keep them dead, who so them We are never worried that you want to see us. An earthquake is shaking the station, rocking it to the foundation. Babylon, them down let you go, but you're not at the failure. Let me see your hands in the air. Let me see your hands in the air. Let me see your hands in the air. Let me see your, come on, we are the ninja.
How did you get Russ Ballard into this thing, and how big was his influence on the production?
I was at the Classic Rock Awards actually a couple of years ago and saw Russ win, Best Songwriter Award, and thought, wow, they were listing off the songs he's done, Since You've Been Gone, God Gave Rock and Roll to You, etc., etc. And then our manager piped up and said, yeah, we know Russ, and James, the producer, knew Russ as well, and so it was just like a phone call away, really. And we got together. Russ really broadened our horizons about approaching, lyrically and musically, how to, what to do with a song. And there were a few songs on the record we definitely wanted to kind of attack that way. And he was fantastic, I loved working with Russ. It was a highlight of the record to me. He's such a wonderful man. And, just like annoyingly talented, just anything he touches is like becomes musical, He could make a tune out of this table, just really talented guy, great guy.
Do you think he put the new album, Kill the Power, in a more like poppy way compared to the albums before?
I think we've always had pop sensibility on records, Our previous records, none of them are just like, none of it. On every album, there's songs that have like, we've always been about melody, always been about like having a good chorus, always trying to do that sort of thing. So maybe Russ just refined that part of us a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I would never say we wanted to sound like a pop band. There's a difference between pop music and pop sensibility, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I think a good song is a good song. Of course. And I think Russ is good at writing good songs.
What's your favorite song on the new album?
Favorite song on the album? There's a couple. I'll have to say at the moment, my favorite song is We Live. Because it's a bit different for us. It's kind of like a big power ballad. A big Skindred power ballad, if you can imagine such a thing. That's my favourite song at the moment, this week.
Okay. What is it like now today playing in front of like 1,000 to 5,000 people on the whole tour and almost every concert being sold out? Pretty
mind-blowing, to be honest. I mean, I think we've been a bit desensitized to having good gigs, because I'm not talking in terms of numbers, but in terms of energy. Our crowd for the last decade has always brought 110% across the board. In Austria, Germany, France, UK, USA, Australia, people come to a Skindred show because they want to give it some. And the numbers are just growing, that's all. So it still feels as amazing as it did 10 years ago, but there's just more people. It's crazy, It's really, it feels good, to know that more and more people are coming rather than less and less people, because we're obviously doing something.
Sex and connection, and the money I can
to do a song with Run DMC. That's what I want to do. Madison Square Gardens or Wembley Stadium. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Probably Axis Boulder's Love, Jimi Hendrix Experience. That's got to be up there. Blood Sugar Sex Magic, close second. Evil Empire, Rage Against the Machine. Those three, you know. Led Zeppelin 4. I don't know. It depends. That's a difficult question. I've got loads. Man, you're killing me here. I don't know. Do people always have like the answer on the tip of their tongue? I don't know. I have to think about this shit. I should have this ready in my mind. But this week I feel differently to last week, you know. I'd probably say Little Wing, Jimi Hendrix. You know, that's probably one of the things that made me go, right, guitar. Yes, that's for me.
Okay, and last question. Was there a certain moment in the history of Skindred that you think like brought together the band in a certain way? Like one significant moment that you remember?
I don't know. I think when Nobody got to the song Nobody got to like #9 in the US charts, that was kind of like, holy shit, you know, something's happening here. I don't know, but that's just, you know, an example of something going well and, you know, some level of success. I think there have been far lower key, smaller things that have probably brought us together more, like personal tragedy, you know, things like that, you know. Things that happen in our personal lives have probably brought us closer together than any commercial success we'd have, you know, because we're four friends at the end of the day. You know, we're really different people, but we're brought together by what we do.
What do you expect by tonight's show? Carnage.
Absolute fucking carnage. Controlled chaos.
Thank you very much for the evening.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, man.
You